Well, hello, everyone. Happy Monday. I hope everyone is having a great day so far. I've got a very special guest coming on the channel today. You guys know him. He's been on a couple times before, and we're going to talk about what else we're going to talk about? New Hampshire. Of course, we're going to talk about New Hampshire because really the only state that really matters, just like, let's be honest, the only one that's actually doing something that's interesting. Don't pay attention when they talk about Florida. That's a big fat lie. New Hampshire is the only state that matters. And I'm going to bring on my guest in a second. And we're going to talk about why that is and why we think you should come and visit New Hampshire. But before we get into that, guys, please mount that like button. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not already. This may be my last stream. Who knows? But we're going to see. We're going to see. Maybe there'll be more streams after this. Maybe there won't be. We're going to see. But if you would like to get in touch with me and join a private community Zoom call that I've got going on starting at 7 o'clock tonight, you can check out my locals community. Pretty much, well, the only sane place on the internet, if I'm honest about it. My locals community, we do 2 private Zoom calls every single week. They're unrecorded. It is a safe space where we can talk about whatever we want to talk about. And, you know, on Mondays, we actually call our Zoom call Marathon Monday because they go for a really long ass time because people have a lot of stuff to say. So if you want to get in on the action and find out what goes on these Zoom calls, you can head over to kb.locals.com to sign up by becoming a supporter on the channel. You can do that for $5 a month or more. If you feel like offering more, you can also do it for $50 a year. You can also make a one-time gift, whatever's clever for you. And all of those things are going to get you access to the private Zoom call that I have going on tonight, starting at 7 p.m. in my locals community. And so that'll be really great. I guess that's really all the shilling that I have to do for the moment, but we've got a lot of great stuff to talk about today, including why you should come to New Hampshire in the fall. Look at those colors. You can't see colors like that anywhere else. And yes, that really is what it looks like in New Hampshire. That is not a cheesy stock photo. That is actually what it looks like. And I'm really excited to have my guest coming on today to talk about why we think you should come to New Hampshire. You know him as, well, the man behind the greatest libertarian festival in the history of libertarian festivals. That is Pork Fest, of course. And yes, I already do have my Pork Fest tickets. I even already have my Pork Fest motel reservation for next year. And I know I'll be spending some time with this guy. Dennis, welcome to the channel.
Hello, Carlin. Hello, everyone.
Hey, Dennis. Well, you've always got something going on. Like you are, did you guys know, fun fact, Dennis probably won't toot his own horn, so I will. Dennis is the Liberty Activist of the Year in New Hampshire. You want a plaque or something, didn't you, Dennis?
I did. I actually have it somewhere. I was so touched. I was so touched. At some point, you think that, well, you're doing so many things that people don't even see it.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of blend into the background. So it was funny because they said, well, there's this young activist whom we want to acknowledge this year. And so I was thinking young. Well, obviously it's not I. And they were going to give clues. And so I started listening, and I was going, wait, I have to know this person. I have to know this person.
You know everyone. How could you not know them?
Well, also they were talking about the things I had done, right? And I do them with a large number of people in different groups. So there's these intersecting circles, and I'm working through my Venn diagrams to figure out who this is. I finally come up with who it is, and I turned to I thought it was Stephen Nass. I turned to Steve. I said, yeah, but Stephen actually walked away. He knew who was going to get this. He was kind of on the inside, and so he walked away to watch me. I'm like panicked, thinking, Stephen, they're about to announce your name.
I love that it was a surprise. That's probably the thing I love most, is that you really didn't know you were getting the award.
Yeah, and it was so much more special, I think, because it was such a surprise. I really had no clue that I would ever get it. And it's an organization that I respect so much. It's the NHLA. They do so much work for liberty here, but the work that they do is primarily political, and I do not do politics, even though I'm
Because you're
involved with.
smart. You're smart. You stay out of the nonsense.
Well, I just don't have the personality. When I first came up here, I went around to all the different organizations, not all, but a lot of the different organizations to see where I might fit in. I thought I would fit in well with NHLA, and I joined them as a lifetime member, and I offered my services and told them all these things, and they kind of told me early on, Dennis, you're a little bit too disruptive. And of course they're right, because what I do, which is entrepreneurship, requires breaking things, and they're kind of an older, more staid organization. They've been around for quite a while. They do so much good work. And I told them I could triple their membership. I could do all this type of stuff for them. And they were really excited. And then I said, well, and then we'll have to do these things. And they wanted to triple their membership, but they didn't really want to do all those things. And so they were right in kind of saying, you might want to go find something else. I eventually found PorcFest, which turned out to be a perfect thing for me to work on. I could break things, and only a couple thousand people get upset with me.
Well, I already, like I said on the top, I already bought my tickets to PorcFest next year. I think as soon as you guys launch them on the site, and I was calling Rogers incessantly on August 1st because I was like, I'm getting the motel again this year, because I gotta tell you, like, staying at the motel this year, it was a game changer for me. I stayed in town last year. I stayed at the Lancaster Motel, which is actually really nice, a couple miles away from Rogers, and like not so bad at all. But staying, actually, it was such an odd experience for me to actually stay at Rogers in the motel this year, because it's like you are in this little insulated community. And I remember, like, on the final day when we were getting ready to leave, part of me was like, oh man, I've been here a week, I'm ready to go home. And then as we were driving away, I was like, no, I don't want to go back into the real world.
Well, you're lucky. You're lucky. The real world for you is still New Hampshire. Can you imagine if the real world for you was New York or California or New Jersey? There are so many people who go to this festival, and they really enjoy it, and they just can't believe that we can do things like that in the real world. And that's really what we're trying to do. Part of what I hope to do is create PorcFest 365 here in New Hampshire. Perhaps a little bit less festival and a lot more work, a lot more community, a lot more people helping each other, that type of thing. But that's all part of PorcFest as well. So, for me, it's been such a blessing. I guess we're going to be talking about this, but
well, we're gonna let's get into the topic in a second. But no, I mean, you're making actually like a really good point in that, when I came back from Reno, I basically said, I'm never getting on a plane again. I'm never leaving New Hampshire again. Like, I'm done. I just want to stay here. I'll occasionally go across, like, just a smidge across the border into Massachusetts, just like a couple of miles, and then I come right back. And that's it. That's really all I need to do.
And when I do that, there's a couple of roads that that they bang into Massachusetts.
Yeah, it's like you're basically doing a U-turn. That's basically what you're doing. You're like, no.
I now get anxiety. I mean, I lived 40 some years. I did graduate work in Massachusetts, and now I go in there for the 15 minutes that that takes, and I'm panicked.
Yeah, you're like, I'm done.
And of course, I come back over. I see the "Live Free or Die" sign. Welcome to New Hampshire. I'm honking the horn.
I mean, it is a really bizarre feeling, though, because, like, I traveled for work all the time for years and years and years. I was on a plane all the time, and I was always excited to go to all these other places around the country. And now I'm just like, I truly have, like, since I've gotten involved with, like, the liberty culture in New Hampshire, I truly have no desire to leave. I have no desire to be anywhere else. I want to be here. It's just nicer here. The people are better here. Like, I don't have to deal with, like, the bullshit that I have to deal with in other places. And so you are one of the key reasons why that's happened, because you always have. This is why you got Liberty Activist of the Year. Dennis, you have always got a project going on. And we're here today to talk about one of your projects. And can you tell us a little bit about the Free State bus tours?
Yeah. Well, one of the groups I run is called Free State Tours, and you can go on Facebook. We really only have a Facebook presence, and for you guys who are really into security, I apologize, but you can find us Free State Tours on Facebook, and I highly recommend you guys join, regardless of which trip you take. You want to do one of these, but yeah, a lot of what I want to do is to share this beautiful state. It's so funny. We have a few progressive detractors who just absolutely can't stand the free staters because we're helping so much to
We have
bring
one or
more
two,
freedom.
2.
But they go, you guys should leave. I go, to where? To where would we go? And of course they say Florida. Well, I'm not a conservative. Florida, Texas, Indiana, Tennessee. These are all great states, but they're all in the authoritarian 49. They're all moving, inextricably towards greater authoritarianism. There's only one state that's libertarian. And the only reason for that is because we have so few libertarians internationally. Now we're lucky enough to get some international libertarians here, and they're some of my favorites. But we get libertarians from all over the United States, and these tend to be the most desirous of freedom because they're the ones who are willing to say, yeah, I've got my friends here, I've got my family, I've got my work. I can't stand this authoritarianism, and I've got to go and move to a place where we're not sliding into greater and greater authoritarianism, like in the authoritarian 49, but instead is moving towards libertarianism, towards freedom, towards liberty. And so those people are the ones that we really want to have move here. I think it's really sad when they give up that dream of freedom. They think that it's impossible to be free, and they fall into a depression, which I think is actually fairly real. I talk about how most libertarians, when they finally see this vision of people living consensually and voluntarily without the violence of the state, without interpersonal violence, and that we just live and I respect you, you respect me, we get along. It's a very simple thing. This is not a complicated thing.
No.
They see it, they go, oh my God, this is so beautiful. It's so easy. All we have to do is give up trying to control everyone else. Now, they were raised amongst people who told them that that's what you do, right? Your teachers always say, well, we've got this problem. If you were king of the world, what would you do? What should government do? If you have this mindset that I'm going to control everyone and everyone's your robot, everyone's your slave, and all you have to do is pass a law and force everyone to do this. Well, it's just so hard to see this type of different vision, this different paradigm, where every human is no longer a slave to some ruler or some set of rulers. They are instead fully autonomous human beings, independent, living their own lives, and they can make their own choices as long as they do it peacefully. As long as they do it peacefully, they make their own choices. And so they see this for a second. They go, oh my God, I've got to convince other people. And they go out and they try to convert everybody, and they're trying to convert their mother and their grandmother and their and of course nothing. The Thanksgiving table. Well, they'll work on their brother-in-law who works for the IRS. So,
oh God. Well, he's auditing someone in the South, apparently, a poor person in the South. We learned today.
And then they go and they try to do it at work, and of course, everyone's going, oh, this person's very strange. He wants to do something around peace, love, and understanding. Well, we can't have that in the workplace. That's dangerous. And so he does this conversion thing. So it doesn't really work that well. And so you come into one of two states, really. And one state is, okay, we'll always be subjugated. We'll always be slaves. And how do I live with that? So, people get into prepping, they get into, this is where Cato and reason come in,
Oh
where
God.
they're kind of more, let's
Beltway.
well, let's beg our masters for
Yeah.
a little bit of freedom, because if we can make the case to them that giving their slaves a little bit more freedom, they get so much more tax revenue, or they get so much more benefit themselves, so trying to appeal to the psychopath's own greed, because certainly appealing to psychopaths for their empathy is absolutely insane, right? They don't have empathy. They don't have empathy for their slaves. But you say, look, a little bit more freedom, and look at how much more productivity you'll be able to get. And you'll be able to take that and use it for whatever great projects we want. Well, and then there's the people who I really get concerned about. These are the people who fall into despair. And they either, and I've been there. I was there in the 90s. I really, anyway. You fall into despair, and and you cannot really see a path out of towards freedom. And some people even go ahead and just reject. They go, "Oh, absolutely stupid. People could never live in a peaceful coexistence. They have to have masters." And you get these people who used to see this, and they turn into like these horrible authoritarians. And you go, what happened to you? What happened to you? And they're just as bad as the people they left in the first place. Sometimes they're even worse. So it's those people that I really worry about. The people are converting, just kind of hammering their head into this wall continuously. We tend to be tough people, and they have to hammer their head for a while. But we offer this fourth major alternative, which is concentration. So leave the authoritarians, leave the authoritarian 49, leave all the surroundings of authoritarianism, and come and create one state only, that is a free state, a state conceived in liberty. And it's I use the example of the Mormons, right? The Mormons want everybody to turn into Mormons, and they try and try and try. Well, eventually what they did was they concentrated themselves into one state, and they had, much more peaceful. They do send out people to try to find, additional Mormons.
They have their missionaries. They do.
That's right. That's right. That's right. But that core there, that safe space, is still there for them. And, I think it's extremely important. We see that with Chinese in Chinatown. We see that with
the Amish.
Jews in Israel, with Amish. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I think the concentration strategy is just so great. I'm doing another trip that I'm not actually talking about, but next week,
oh, no.
we're doing a trip, a full week-long trip on a double-masted schooner.
I almost signed up for this trip. I was like this close, and there was just other stuff going on that I was like, oh, the timing is just bad. But I actually really wanted to go on this trip. Next time I'm going on the boat.
Well, it's absolutely great. So you spend a week. Last year, Carol and I went. We love sailing, and it's just absolutely beautiful. It's really a sailing ship. So if you like sailing, you want this. If you're more like a cruise ship, lounge chairs, pina coladas served, then this isn't really the trip for you. But anyway, the biggest problem that we had was that everyone else on the boat were authoritarians coming from various states, and they would get there, and we would be talking to them about something off of politics, and inevitably they would come back to, okay, what we need to do is pass a law. We need to stop these people. We need to do. And it would be like Carol and I would like look at each other, go, ugh, and we would slowly back away and walk away. Because in the past, when I didn't have the free state to fall into, I would feel like, oh my God, I've got to convert these people. I've got to let them see, maybe they won't be so cruel to to other humans if they would just see this beautiful vision that we have. But now I can just kind of say, they live in those other states where they practice cannibalism. They do all these terrible things to people, and it's absolutely terrible. maybe I'll go visit, but like you, I don't really want to go visit and watch the cannibals.
No.
And instead I can like kind of go there and I can kind of say, okay, that's you guys. God bless. We're over here. So this year, what we did was I said, okay, well, I love the boat trip. The only thing is that we need free people, people who love human freedom, who won't hurt other people, so that we can actually talk about things for longer than 10 minutes before the conversation turns into hurting each other. So yeah, that's what we did. It's really exciting. We're already getting our foul weather gear out. Very excited about this.
Well, and the strategy of concentration just makes sense. And like I had to come around to this idea too, because I remember when I first started getting involved, I was kind of like, yeah, you guys have a little club and I understand it. And you like being around people that like the same things. Like, who doesn't like being around people who like the same things? But it wasn't until I got involved and started seeing how all this was working and really seeing the impact that the Free State Project had, and also kind of coming around to the understanding that I have a lot of respect for people who move. Like, I mean, we've talked about this. Like, I don't consider myself a free stater because I moved here for a job while I was still a Democrat. And it just happened that I lucked into moving to a place that worked out pretty well and that I never ever want to leave. But I have mad respect for people who pick up their whole lives just to move to New Hampshire to be a part of the culture here. And I feel like that's like extra credit, even though you've told me that you guys love converting people who already live here to free staters. So it's like a little, so I'll take it just out of respect. But like, I just think it's such a big commitment to the idea of liberty to pick up your entire life and move to a new place just to be a part of the culture. But I really come around to it in that I think it's the only thing that's going to work. I totally agree with you in the fact that when I hear places like Florida or Texas talking about we're going to pass a bill, and it's like, you guys always screw up the bills you pass. You always screw them up. There's always some sort of loophole that like the bill doesn't work out the way you think it's going to. And then it's like a political game. But, here we have people who are working to like review the bills to make sure that like everything is okay. So it's not like we're not doing anything with that, but that's just like one small component of creating this culture in New Hampshire. And what you're talking about in terms of like, the different projects that you've put on or things like that, like you're not even involved in politics. And so it really is more about being involved in the culture, and the people that end up coming here for the Free State Project and getting involved with the Free State Project. It's like they are 100% committed to that idea. And I think that it is a very different thing than getting involved in like a conservative organization in Florida where they may have a meeting once a year, but really that's it. It's like a once a year meeting, and then a couple people go off to like make some decisions, and they come back the following year for their once a year meeting. That's not what it's like in New Hampshire. Liberty is an everyday thing here, right?
Yeah, I mean, there are free staters who primarily hang out with only free staters. I mean, we don't. We try to meet other people, and there are so many good people. People who were born here in New Hampshire. New Hampshire. We picked New Hampshire because it already had that live free or die ethos. Now, of course, we have a lot of people here who moved from Massachusetts or New York or
God bless them.
And they come here and they go, this is absolutely fantastic. I love this state. The thing it needs to be is more like Massachusetts, more like more like New York. No. And we kind of disagree. We're going, no, we uprooted our lives in order to come to the one place, the only place that is actually dedicated towards freedom. And so we had a conversation about of course the natives are absolutely fantastic, and some of the natives are our biggest volunteers.
Oh yeah,
they just work so hard and do so many great things. But we were talking about how it's easy to not appreciate the gifts you have when you grow up with them, and you do not know what it's like. You do not know what it's like to live in Manhattan. You do not know what it's like to live in Jersey. You don't know what it's like to live in Chicago. You go and visit Boston. You think you know what it's like to live in Boston, and I don't think you do. I don't think you do, because you wouldn't be, I have this visceral reaction to living in the free state. And when I go back to my old haunts in, Manhattan, Jersey, Chicago, Boston, Boulder, I'm going, oh my God, I'm so glad I'm not here. So there is this appreciation for seeing the gifts and saying, oh, this is something mankind cannot lose. We cannot lose this. This is too important to lose. We cannot get squelched. And of course, there's all these people who think, well, we just have to be just like New York or Vermont or no, please.
No, it's a horrible idea. Just stay there. I mean, the progressives in New Hampshire have really been like pissed lately about the Free State Project. Like they're getting like extra uppity about the Free State Project, which to me is a really positive sign that things are probably moving in a direction that makes them feel very nervous.
Yeah, and I think that they just, they've lost Trump, so they need something else, some other boogeyman.
The boogeyman.
Yeah. The boogeyman turns out to be the people who are the most peaceful, the most interested in freedom. There was a guy who was yelling at me, "You're going to be taking away our schools, our public schools." Look,
well, here's hoping we do.
We're not taking it. Well,
yes, we are. Yes, we are, Dennis. Yes, we are.
Well, give me a second. I said, look, just go with your progressive friends, collect your money, and create your own woke school that teaches whatever you want to teach about racism, about sex, about anything you want. We don't care what you do. You do that. All we're saying is don't impose that. Don't coercively, violently through the state force that on people who do not consent, on parents who do not consent. That's all we're saying. And I mean, I don't see what's so wrong with that. It's such a peaceful solution. Yeah, the progressives have their little school, the conservatives have their little school, the religious have their little school, libertarians will have this teeny tiny little school over here. Well, and we all get along. And people will go and say, "Oh, can I come over to your school and see how you're doing that?" And they come over and either they say, "Oh, that's interesting. Maybe we'll include that in our school," or they say, "Boy, I would never do that, but I don't have to fight these people." That's what they're doing with their kids. God bless them. They're doing it with their kids. We're going to stay over with our group because we think that we know the right way of doing it. Mm-hmm. I don't want progressives to think that we think that we know how they should run their lives. We just don't want them to run our lives. That's the only difference. And they can't get it through their heads. They think that our refusal to have them run our lives, have them control our children, have them indoctrinate our children, that's somehow controlling them. And it's like, no, it's not. It's not. Do you see the difference between us? We're two different human beings. You do you, baby. I do I. Okay? So, and it's that simple. But it's very hard for authoritarians to see this. They have just gotten into such an idea of what we do is we control each other, and we're the right ones. So we need to get that power, and we should do everything we can to control that power, because otherwise they'll control us. And maybe that's true of the conservatives. Maybe it's true of the religious right. That's not the libertarians. The libertarians say, you do you, babe. That's okay. That's cool. So yeah, you can have your public schools. You can call them anything you want. You can teach whatever you want to teach there. You send your kids, use your own money. These guys are rich. Send your money. And if you want to subsidize people because you think that this is the right thing for the poor and the minorities to learn your way of schooling, well, you subsidize your school. We'll subsidize ours. And then we'll just allow to see what happens. Allow freedom to spring. And
and we get rid of the property tax, so everyone has more money to subsidize whatever schooling they want.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why you would steal from religious families in order to raise the children in this a-religious or anti-religion, and it's just a different religion. It's a religion of the state, right?
Yeah.
That the state is omnipotent, omniscient, and that we should all worship the state. The progressives they pretend like they're not religious. They're extraordinarily religious. They just think that magic ballot boxes produce good So my argument to them is, we don't want to do anything to you. We just want to be left alone. I don't understand what's so hard about that. And to them, that is so enraging. They get so angry with us.
It is fascinating, isn't it? It is like, yes. It really, like, people just do not cannot, and this is true whether they're on the left, the political left, or the political right, I find, with very few exception, is like, they really cannot wrap their head around the idea of, I'm going to do me, and I don't care what you do, just don't force me to do the thing that you want to do. If I want to do it, then I will decide to do it, but don't try to force me to do it through like whatever means. It's a really, really simple concept. Like, I've been thinking about this a lot lately. It's like, I personally, like, there are things that I want to be involved in, and there are things that I don't want to be involved in. And it's like, I don't want to be forced to be in a community where I don't fit in and where I'm not wanted. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would rather find a community of people that we get along, I fit in better, we speak the same language, we like the same stuff. I'll go hang out with them. But, like, why are you forcing me to be in this community that I don't want to be in at all? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like and I'm going to be happier if I'm in the community I want to be in. You're going to be happier because I'm not going to be complaining about, being forced to be in a community that I don't want to be in.
Right.
This is like a win-win for everyone. I don't understand what the problem is.
Yeah, and it really it ratchets down this animosity, this hatred. Because, I mean, if you think about it, if somebody is really trying to enslave you, that they're going to use the state through laws to threaten you with ultimately death, right? There's that whole process. If you don't obey the law, well, we'll steal this money from you, we'll fine you, or we'll arrest you, and if you fight us, we'll beat you until or we'll maim you, or eventually they'll kill you. So either you submit to them through their laws, and it's something you don't want to do. It's either something about your body or your labor or your associations or your own property that you do not want to do. And it may be just like, I don't feel like doing it, and I should have that right. Or it could be like, no, I absolutely abhor that, and I will not be party to that. And that whole range, that's a personal range, and I don't understand why you just don't say, okay, look, we're going to be in consensual relationships. I'm going to try to convince you. If you're not into it, I'm going to go to my next neighbor, and we'll form this group, and we'll have our own progressive school that will be taught. Every single one will be taught by trans teachers, and they'll have all this other stuff. And look, personally, I personally come from the left. I understand, I do not have the conservatives disgust. There's this thing of disgust that the conservatives have way more than progressives. So I don't really have that. To me, it's just a diversity of humanity, and we just are different. But I don't see why if somebody loves trans, that's fine. If somebody doesn't like trans, that's fine too. Just don't associate. Come on, guys, this is hard stuff. This is very easy stuff. But because everybody thinks that they have to be under one rule for them all, and that there will be violence visited upon them if they should dare lose. If they lose, oh my God, there's going to be violence against me. So that's scary, and I don't blame them. That's how libertarians feel all the time, right? Because we don't want any laws to be imposing on us. We just want to be free to live our life, because conservatives, they're fine with conservative laws being imposed on them, but they don't want any progressive laws. Progressives, they're fine with progressive laws. Oh, those are good laws. So yeah, well, that's just common sense. But God forbid that there should be conservative laws imposing on them. And I think the libertarian solution is just such a peaceful solution. Now, most people can't see it. I understand that. I understand that. And that's why we have so much choice in all the other states. The authoritarian 49 it includes progressive states. Just if you look at New Hampshire, we have progressive states surrounding us. Absolutely fantastic. Progressive.
Maine is okay. Maine is all right. Maine is borderline. We're gonna annex Maine at some point. After we secede, we'll annex Maine.
Maybe the second congressional district. I think the first congressional district at some point will merge with Massachusetts, but I don't know. I don't know. How we partition eventually in some sort of long-term national divorce. But I do not see a country where California and Texas are fighting every single thing day over every single issue for them to control the rest of us. I just don't see that, and I see us eventually breaking up. Now, of course, if you're conservative or conservatarian, Florida's great, Tennessee, Indiana, love Tennessee. I love the people in Tennessee. They're so fantastic. I keep on imagining, what if we could actually branch down and include some of those great spots along the Appalachians and things like that. But if you're libertarian, you have to come up and visit us here in New Hampshire. We are the only place for libertarianism. It's like you're a Mormon and you go, I don't really like Utah because I don't like salty lakes. But they have a really nice lake here in Kentucky. So I think we should have. We're going to move to Kentucky because they don't. But you're Mormon. You're Mormon. You're not going to be happy there. You're going to be surrounded by people who don't believe in your religion. They actually think that you're an apostate, and they're not going to give you the freedom that you like. So what we ask is libertarians, if you're at all libertarian, if you're really libertarian, if you really feel like liberty is something that's important to you, that consensual voluntary relationships are something that's important, come up and visit us in New Hampshire. Now, of course, we have Pork Fest, right? Which we tell people come up and visit Pork Fest, and people say, "Oh, why do I want to eat pig? Barbecue pig at a festival, outdoor festival." And I go, "You don't have to eat. That's not what pig. Pork Fest is. Yeah, it's not just barbecue, and it's I've never camped there. Someone was telling me, "Well, I don't camp." I go, "I'm from Manhattan."
You don't have to camp. I don't camp either. You don't have to camp. You don't have to camp. Although some people, I was actually really impressed with some of the campsites that people set up this year. There was some glamping going on. I was like, this is high tech, man. But I stayed in the motel.
Well, I think that we need a couple more entrepreneurs to actually come in there and put up the tents and put on, there's a whole science of how you get the flooring and the types of tents that you get, and if they have storage like a barn or something in New Hampshire, I could see where somebody actually has a whole rack of tents and floorings and music, and they just set it up, and then people come and they have this turnkey excellent glamping spot. I mean, I don't. We should see more entrepreneurs doing that.
That's a great idea. And someone actually did that with showers this year at Pork Fest, because last year I think there were times when they didn't have enough water, and so they shut down the showers in the middle of the day, so because they were trying to conserve water, which I don't think actually was a problem this year so far as I saw as much. But in response to that, someone actually came and set up a whole campsite of these makeshift showers where you could go and always have a hot shower if you couldn't get one in the regular showers, which I thought was a great idea. I was like, this is exactly what this is,
Yeah, they had kind of a high quality luxury showers that they came in with. Yeah, and it's that type of entrepreneurship that I'd love to see even more. I thought that they were brilliant, absolutely brilliant how they did that, and they had done that actually 2 years ago. And they decided they were going to go out really big. I felt a little bit bad because we didn't have the problems with the campgrounds that we had 2 years ago, where we were in serious water shortage. There was a drought up in the White Mountains. But anyway, so we tell people come out to Pork Fest, and we have also kind of a more staid convention, Liberty Convention, that's takes place in February, March timeframe, and we tell people come out to the Liberty Forum, and you can actually meet porcupines.
That's the wonky one. That's the nerdy one.
That's right. That's for you guys who really get into the details of various laws. Whereas PorcFest is more if you're into actually just experiencing that feeling of freedom, and whatever area it is that you want. This coming up here, we're going to have over 1,000 events at PorcFest. 1,000 events. It's
going to be incredible. I cannot
wait.
And
it stretches just from everything, to knitting, to gun shooting, to crypto, to it's just
to naked Olympics.
naked Olympics.
Well,
which was really popular this year. I was going, really? Okay.
I'm gonna go next year. I feel bad. Like I wanted to see the one guy who ran it wearing nothing but his gun. Like, this is the most PorcFest thing that's ever happened.
And that guy has a gigantic gun.
He does have a gigantic gun.
He's running with this gigantic thing strapped to his naked body. Oh, God bless him. I love him.
Well, I do. Before we get into your latest event, I just want to address something going on in the chat, because you guys have discovered that yes, the rumors are true. I shut down my Twitter account. I did not get banned. I shut it down. So I don't want to. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because now you guys are in the chat talking about my Twitter account and how it's not loading. I shut it down. I didn't get banned. I don't know if it's coming back. We're going to decide that later. But for right now, I want you guys to focus on what Dennis is saying, which is way more interesting than my no longer Twitter account.
I liked your Twitter account. I'm disappointed.
Can only get harassed so many days of my life before I say this is just not worth it anymore. It's just not worth it. But you know what? Like, I've never had that problem with the libertarians or in New Hampshire or the community here, which is part of the reason that I love it so much. And I really want to focus on actually doing things in the real world, not arguing with idiots on the internet all day long. Yeah. So that's what I decided to do, because I want to focus my energy on things that actually matter, just like you do, Dennis, which is why you have so many great events.
Yeah. So at one point last year, I was doing 30. I counted. I was working on 32 different projects. So let me talk a little bit about some free state tours. Free state tours. Go to Facebook. You join us, and we're trying to do all these different tours to come. If you're this liberty person, you really feel it in your bones, please come out. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to your family. You owe it to your long-term health to come out and see what we're doing out here. Now, what we usually do is say, come to Liberty Forum, come to PorcFest, or come sometime during the year, anytime. You go to fsp.org/calendar, and you'll see we have every day. We have, actually, somewhere between 4 to 8 to, we just have so many different events. Calendar.
Hang on, calendar. Let me show you guys, because it is actually really impressive how many events go. Look at this calendar. This is legit. This is every single Liberty event that's going on every single day of the week. I don't know if people really have appreciation for how much there is going on. This is a tiny state. Okay? You can literally find something going on every single day if you want to. And this is all real world stuff. This is not stuff online.
And those are all the ones where we're open to people coming in and new people showing up. On top of that, so actually, if you open up Wednesday, you'll see. We just added something on Wednesday. Open up the bottom. So how many items are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Jeremy's
9.
doing a debate.
Yeah, and so that's the one I've been working on that for the last month. And we actually have 2 U.S. Senate candidates coming to the Shell and going to give just a talk about the state of liberty. Oh, please. Yeah. Definitely come out. You have to come out to that. But yeah, it's, and so it's everything from candidate discussions to politics to, gun shoots. Tonight, I think is there here in the on the Free Coast, they have a big shoot. So, a bunch of people go off.
White Birch Armory meetup.
Oh yeah, there it is. Oh, that's an interesting view. Yeah. So the Seacoast is doing and so the guy who's organizing is doing a great job. I love Justin. He's brand new, and I don't know what his background is. I don't think he's like a big shooter, but he just loves this stuff. Now, I don't get into it that much. And he was trying to convince me to go out. And I was like going, well, you know that I've shot a lot. And you know that, I kind of know myself. It's just not something I get excited about. And he's like, oh, well, it's so much fun. And we do it, and then we go out to eat. And I go, yes, I know. And I'm so glad that you're doing that, because I'm never going to do that. I'm never going to organize that. But yeah, so all these people are organizing things all throughout the day. So those are the daily events. Oh, that's a really nice view.
Yeah, that's the weekly view. So it makes it a little bit easier so you can see. But I mean, look at this. There's like movie screenings going on. There's tap room Tuesdays at Murphy's if you want some drinks. It's like there's just always something going on, which is like there's this coding thing at the Quill. There's also knitting night at the Quill. Like, I mean, all over the state, all the time. It's amazing.
And on top of that, there's maybe 100 groups or so that are totally decentralized, and of course they have their own private schedules, and they meet at various times. And so once you get here, you plug into whichever groups you're interested in. If you're interested in guns, then you go join the gun group, and you don't just go to the public gun shoots, but you go to your own shoots and the conversations and that type of stuff. And good, that's fantastic. Do that. So what we want people to do is come out and see it. We tell people, go to the calendar and pick any week, come out, and then just go to as many things as you possibly can, and meet people. Now, a lot of people feel a little bit shy about that. So what I started doing last year was I started conducting these guided bus tours. I first did the Seacoast because I love the Seacoast, and I think that this is an absolutely fabulous place to live. And I think it's beautiful. It's the people here are really, really good Liberty people. And so we had meetups, and we had we had several comedy nights that we arranged that people could come and see comedy all in this one weekend. And then the bus tour was the main part, where we put people on bus, and for 6 hours you're going and you're seeing all these different things. You're visiting community clubhouses, and porcupines are coming on and telling them about their loves for this and love for that and so you just get to see a little bit of the edges of all these intersecting different interests that are all around the state. And that went really well. So I did another one in February timeframe, March timeframe on Merrimack Valley, and took people up to Concord, and we toured the State House and got to meet some legislators. And we were there for the opening of a new community clubhouse, and the big celebration that was there from all the other porcupines, and they're all having a party, and then we drive up with 55 people on a bus. But there's farms there that were offering their own foods, and it's absolutely fantastic. And so the people, and then we went to another porcupine owned business for drinks and that type of stuff. And so everyone really loved that bus tour. Now I do work on Pork Fest and all this type of stuff. Eventually what I'm going to have is I'm going to have 6 of these tours throughout the year. One of them being this boat trip that we're taking coming in August. But that's all full up. I'm sorry, guys, you can't come. Even if you're sailors, next year, come. Join the Free State Tours on Facebook, and you'll be able to find it. But coming up, this is the big one that I've been working on ever since Pork Fest ended. And for me, Pork Fest ends, about 3 weeks after Pork Fest. So there's all these loose ends that I have to clean up and all this work. But so New Hampshire is gorgeous all year round, and people just don't understand how beautiful this state is.
Yeah, look at that. So look at that.
That's my house there, and that's where I swim in that. Last year I swam 5 miles continuously,
Did you really? That's
Yeah,
impressive, Dennis.
Long distance swimming. So, absolutely fabulous, beautiful, and the spring and the summer and the winter. People say, "Oh, I can't do the winter." Well, get some snowshoes and come
It's
out,
not
and
that
you will have so
bad.
much fun. You're gonna have so much fun, I don't want people to think that they have to hide and hibernate during the winter. Enjoy the outside. You have to learn how to wear clothes. You have to understand that clothes are your friends.
You have to buy a jacket and like maybe even a pair of boots, although I usually don't even wear boots. I just wear sneakers most of the time. I do have a pair of Uggs, but like it's just really not that bad. Like the people that are complaining about the weather, it's really like there were maybe like a couple of snowstorms this year. Guess what? You stay home. Like that's it. You watch a movie. You order a pizza. Like it's not that bad.
Well, you say that, and the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire had their
convention
state
during
convention
a snowstorm
in the middle of a blizzard where everyone else and people were going, well, surely we're going to not, surely we're going to cancel, and we were like going, no, this is New Hampshire.
There's no possible way.
Get in your car. You should have snow tires. You should have 4-wheel drive.
Victor was like doing donuts around the parking lot that morning because he dropped me off.
Well, we had the whole place to ourselves. This gigantic place that it was only us in it, and it was a fantastic time. And so we're getting all this business done, all this work done, and everyone else is around the fire and having fun doing that. But we were out there getting things done, getting ready for Reno for the big takeover. But we are internationally known for our fall season. It is the most beautiful time. When I grew up in Manhattan, so I didn't really see the changing leaves like this. The first time I came up here, I couldn't believe that there were really colors like this. I thought that those colors, if you were ever to see them outside, that those colors were only on billboards. And I remember I came up on a bus. I was 16 or something like that, and my nose was pressed to the glass. And I was like, oh my, I just couldn't believe the colors. And so we get inundated with tourists during that season, and it's actually kind of hard for us natives. And we do little tricks to go up and see the leaves ourselves, and we go on off times and things like that. But we've always said, well, boy, if we could get libertarians up here during the fall foliage season, we get a lot of them to move. They go, oh, this is just too beautiful. I've got to come up here and experience this. And the trouble is that the hotels all sell out, and the roads get clogged. And how do you actually do that? Well, if you're a native, you kind of can figure it out. And that's what we did this year. That's what we did. We have rented blocks of rooms. We are taking people on a guided bus tour through the most beautiful time, the most beautiful mountains, and you'll see the first changing of the leaves way up in the mountains, and we'll go up again along the Kangamangas, and we're going to go back up through the White Mountains on just this one bus tour. And it's absolutely fantastic. We're going to leave really early in the morning. That's kind of a secret. Don't wait until 9 or 10 o'clock to leave, because you will not enjoy yourself.
No, you will not. You'll be on the road for a while.
So we know how to scoot around this stuff and do it right. So we're going to take you, and of course it'll be run by porcupines, and they'll be telling you their stories. No story is longer than 4 or 5 minutes. But they'll touch on schooling and raising children, and crypto, and communities, and the different regions, and housing and jobs, and just talking about everything that we know while you're out looking at this beautiful foliage. And of course we'll have stops where we get out and you can stretch your legs and see different things, and we'll have lunch. We don't our price is $75. If you buy it now, it's only $60, but that doesn't include lunch. So whatever lunch you buy at the place that we stop, that that would be yours.
And let me show people real quick if they want more information, and we'll come back to this again. But guys, if you go to just go to freestateproject.org, and then you go over here to shop and you click on that, that's going to open up the official shop where they've got all sorts of stuff, including PorcFest tickets, of course. But right here we got the Fall Foliage in the Mountains Guided Liberty Bus Tour, and so $60 for like a 3-day bus tour. That's like,
well, it's actually but it's not. So no. That's not what we're doing. The bus tour is only one day. It basically the bus tour starts. Bus tour starts at 8:00 on Friday morning, and it goes until 3:00. So that's what
I see. That's still. I was like, Dennis, like you have way under. I was about to give you a stern talking to. I was like, you have way underpriced this. Like I used to take the bus to Boston every single day. I know how much bus tickets
cost. That's right. So
for one day.
This is actually subsidized by one of the realtors. And Jack, he considers himself the realtor to the porcupines, and so he's actually subsidizing this. So so it's $60, doesn't cover the actual cost, and of course it's all volunteers doing it and stuff like that. So you're benefiting from that as well.
But it's like a really good opportunity to just get like through everywhere and to see every single part of like the state, right?
Right. Well, what we did was we said, okay, we got this great bus tour. That's fantastic, but people really going to come up just for a bus tour. Mm-hmm. And the answer is you ought to. You'll really enjoy it. You're going to have a good time. You can stay at the hotel the night before. Hop on the bus in the morning. Go through and see everything, and then get off, and you're done. But what we did was we actually created 11 different separate events that you can do, all a la carte. And they include, I think, 5 or 6 different meetups with different groups. So
So these are the events here, right?
Yeah. So the first one is a meetup with the Pemi. So Pemi Valley is a major region in New Hampshire, and you can actually meet up with the Pemi porcupines and talk to them. It's for dinner. It's the night before the bus tour. And then you can stay at a hotel. Of course, you can stay at wherever you want, but the hotels are hard to come by during tourist season. So grab the hotels. The Liberty Bus Tour is on Friday, and you starts at 8 in the morning, and we get you back by 3. And then we meet up with Lakes Region. The Lakes Region is just absolutely gorgeous. This beautiful part of New Hampshire, and you get to meet the Lakes porcupines and see what they're like. And then we spend the night in Plymouth. The next day we go ahead and we break people up into small groups. And so if you want to go and do a shoot, you go and with a gun group. If I'm going to go take people up on a gondola ride up Cannon Mountain, and then we'll do a walk. We'll do a walk through a lovely town. And then that night we meet the people up in North Country, but all the way on the east side of North Country, up in Berlin, for another meetup. And then we're going to go to a new, soon to open. It won't be open at that time, but they'll be building it out, a new community clubhouse. And that's where we'll spend Saturday night. And you get to meet the people who are running it, the people who are building it, and all the people on North Country, on the west side of North Country. And then that night we'll be over at Cabot Inn. A number of us will be staying there. That's really where that's walking distance to the place where PorcFest is held. Mm-hmm. And then the next morning we drive back down to the Lakes Region. So you'll be driving your own cars. Of course, you can, carpool and that type of things. But we'll drive down to the Lakes Region and we'll get on a boat cruise on Lake Winnipesaukee. And so that's a 2.5-hour boat cruise, and it's really nice. Lake Winnipesaukee is our largest lake. It's absolutely beautiful. Hopefully, we'll be in lower elevation, and it is a little bit early. Yeah, so there you see number 10. Yeah, so that's where we are. But even if the leaves aren't fully changed there, it's absolutely beautiful. And then the last event that you can choose all these a la carte, is we meet up with the people in Lakes region, but all the way over on the east side in what we call Carroll County. And they have a place that's, it's just kind of a fun place to hang out. And it's to watch the sunset. So it's a full weekend. You come here, drive up on Thursday, fly in, you rent your car, fly up on, drive up on Thursday, spend the weekend there. You're going to meet people from 5 different groups of porcupines. You can go and whatever you're interested in, you can do a short-term excursion on that. You get the guided bus tour, which will be fun. You can hop on the boat. I know a couple people, they don't like boats, so they're not going to be doing that. They're actually going to go and travel and look at houses over here. And Jack is actually going to be taking people around to look at houses. I'm going to be on the boat. I like boats myself. But you'll get such a good view. And I wish, I guess you can see the inset is a map of New Hampshire.
Mm-hmm.
And
right
basically, basically we're going to be exploring that purple area up. That's what we're exploring. So you can see the
so not like where I live, where there are actually people. This is getting into where there are no people.
That's right. This is where you can get a lot of land cheap. It's great. There's a lot of people who raise family up there. There's a lot of remote workers who move up there. People who really like to have land. If you like to have land and shoot on your own property, it's a great place to live. And of course, farming is pretty big. Agorism is pretty big up there. And they are, it's an absolutely great group of people up there.
You should take them to the Flume. You should take them to the Flume, Dennis.
Is that Weir Beach, you mean?
No, the Flume. It's up near Franconia Notch. It's like a cool thing where you go and you walk through the all these stone things, and there's waterfalls and stuff. It's really pretty.
Yeah. You want to organize one of the small excursions?
I'll take people to the Flume. I'll take people to the Flume, and then we'll go to Polly's Pancake Parlor for pancakes after.
There you go. Yeah, that's actually what we're looking for. We're looking for porcupines to step up and offer little things that they love.
I don't have to, since I'm not on Twitter anymore, I won't have my time sucked up by that hellscape, so I can go out and be in nature and eat pancakes.
Good. You're such a valuable resource, Carlin. I'm so glad that you're not wasting your time with this petty bickering. That's just, why do we care? God bless them. Let them do what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so it's a fantastic weekend. It starts Thursday, September 29th. That's Thursday night. So fly in, get your car, come up, stay at the hotel. Friday, we do the bus trip. You're going to enjoy it. You're going to love the bus trip. We have very few people dislike the bus trip. Most of them have, there's, for example, last time I forgot to tell people that there was actually a bathroom on the bus. These are kind of a luxury bus.
Yeah.
I just assumed people knew this, and they're going, "Oh, we didn't have enough time to go to the bathroom." I go, "But there's a bathroom on the bus."
Oh,
I paid extra to have a bathroom there.
Well, the bare minimum that's going to happen on the bus tour is you're going to meet other people that care about liberty. That's if even if you hate everything you see, which I don't know how anyone could hate something like this, but you're gonna meet other people that think like you do, which I think is valuable in and of itself.
Yes, absolutely. So Thursday night you'll meet the Pemmy people. Friday night you'll meet the Lakes people. You'll have a great dinner with the Lakes people. It'll be a lot of fun. Saturday you'll go off with Carlin to the Flume, or you go with me up to the top of Cannon Mountain on a gondola ride. Or whatever, you go to various towns. You might do a shoot. You might go to a farm. You might go to a homeschooling co-op. Whatever it is that interests you particularly. And then that night we'll meet. We'll have dinner in Berlin with a bunch of other porcupines, and then that night we're going to have a little party at at this place that's opening up. And let me just say, there will be construction all around there. So, but they're opening it up for us especially, and you will be the first people who actually be in that space, because this is a project that we're building, and we wanted to demonstrate that we're building this here. This is us building out our communities, our various organizations, our the politics. And I know the politics takes so much energy, and so many people are so excited about, I mean, when we pass a bill, our bills are almost always taking laws off the books. Taking these things that restrict people. So, for example, the place that we're going to, it's actually one of these places that it will be enabled because we took one of these laws that were against microbreweries off the books. And all of a sudden, it was this gigantic explosion in New Hampshire of 100 new businesses. Now, nobody knew, right? Nobody knew that there was this suppression of these cute little bars selling these odd little types of beers and stuff like that, until the Liberty people took that law away. And all of a sudden, whoosh, human action created all these new businesses. One of them will be this particular community clubhouse that we'll go experience Saturday night.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because I was literally just reading yesterday that New Hampshire now has the highest beer consumption of any state in the country.
We finally beat you, Wisconsin.
And that's because we got rid of laws that were restricting microbreweries.
Well, we used to tell Wisconsin, look, we got almost as many beers here, and we don't have the oppressive laws. So you come here, you can still enjoy your beers, and you won't have to put up with the laws. But now we have even more beers in Wisconsin. Come on. Why are you in Wisconsin? But anyway, and then Saturday we're going to get up, and you can have your brunch down in the Lakes region before you board the boat. The boat actually has a buffet on it, so a lot of people go on the boat and they buy the buffet, and they'll eat their brunch there. I like to actually be on the boat. So I'm going to be up topside and enjoying the view and enjoying the boat ride. So I'm not going to be eating. I'll eat early in the morning. Maybe I'll take some people out, and we'll go to a pancake place or something right there before we board the boat. And then we finish up with watching the beautiful sunset in Carroll County. And Carroll County is one of these places. Both Pemmy and Carroll County are places that we're seeing a lot of new movers moving into. It's just less expensive housing, and it's really building up. So anyway, it's a fantastic trip.
I just had an idea. So fun fact, when I met Victor, he was living in the White Mountains. He was living in Conway, and he used to be like really into cycling, and he would always cycle the Kankamangas Highway. And I just had a vision in my head of recruiting Victor to lead some like cycling tour or something like that. I mean, he's gonna have to dig his bicycle out of the basement from wherever he stacked it. But like, I think that'd be a good activity for him. He needs to lose a little weight. It'll be a good activity.
Oh my goodness. Cycling the Kangamangas Highway?
I used to do it all the time.
I used to do these mini triathlons, these half triathlons, and that's why I can do the long distance swimming. But the biking just killed me. I at some point, I had no feeling left in my hands, because I'm a big guy.
Oh my God. Like Victor got me into cycling. You had to buy the gloves because like the vibrations, it's like the worst.
Yeah. So I've had a knee replacement and a number of other things that coming from those days. Those ultra sports are a little bit tough on the body, especially as you age.
Yeah. But Victor can do it. It can be like an easy cycle. It doesn't need to be like competitive or anything like that. You don't need to like a full kit or anything. You just go on a cycle. Be fine.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So I highly urge people to come out and visit us. If you're at all liberty oriented, we want you here and you will breathe easier if you live here. You and help us build and whatever it is. I mean, if you are into politics, you can play that game. I think it's exhausting for me personally. It's just not someplace that I can do. I absolutely love the spirit and the camaraderie. We start all conversations with everyone already agreeing that each person fully and exclusively owns their own body. So you don't even have to normally in the authoritarian 49, you're talking to these, conservative authoritarians or these progressive authoritarians, and you say, okay, I know you wanted to do that. You want to pass that law, but do you think that somebody owns his own body and should be able to decide for himself what he does with that body, how he labors it, what he does with the product, if he's labor, with whom he associates, and you have to go through this long thing, and eventually they just can't understand it. So, but we start with that basis. We start with that basis, that basic fundamental respect for every single person's unique humanity. And we say, okay, how can we actually support you to be whoever the best Carlin that you could be, the best Dennis that you could be? How can we support you to do that?
Yeah, it is a really different mindset, and it's a mindset that I really did not fully appreciate until I got involved and experienced it. And then and it does take a minute. Like, I don't want to, I don't want to shame people, especially conservatives who think they're libertarian, but they're not really libertarian, but they think they're libertarian. Like, because I understand the mentality. I mean, I was enmeshed in that culture for, a full year, really aggressively. And it really is like, it is the libertarian mindset is a completely different mindset in regards to like the only way I can think to explain it, Dennis, is I don't have any desire to control anyone else. No. I don't care if people do things that I disagree with. I don't care that they say things I disagree with. I don't care what they do with their kids. I don't care about any of this stuff. I just don't want it forced on me. And I don't want it forced on anyone else because I think that everyone else should be able to make their own decisions. And I have no desire to make the rules that other people live by. And it really is a completely different mindset. And I think until I would really encourage like anyone who thinks like maybe you lean more conservative, but like you think you might be libertarian, like come and experience it because it is different. And I think it's much better once you understand it. But I also think it just takes a second to wrap your head around when you're so used to being in one mentality and you think that this right left paradigm is the only operating principle that exists. And there's a lot of reasons why people might think that that is the only paradigm that exists, and then they have to choose one of the sides. But you don't have to choose a side. You don't have to at all, but you have to, in order to really understand what that means, you have to live it and you have to experience it.
Yeah, and I'll go even further. I mean, I think that we have very conservative libertarians, personally conservative.
Oh, yeah.
They're not politically conservative, but personally, they're very conservative. They'll take no brook with drugs. They want nothing to do with the polyamorous. They actually, I mean, we talk about respect. Yeah, there's respect, but and toleration, but it's like, I don't want to be with you. So we have conservatives that are like that, and then we have a libertine people who they're really into the gay scene. They're trans, and they're partying all the time. There's people who use drugs, and they don't like the conservatives because the conservatives are kind of looking down their nose at them. So we actually have those divisions where we get off the bus, okay, so to speak, is that we're going to use the violence of the state. We don't use our own violence to impose our preferences on each other, nor do we hire somebody through a magic ballot box. We don't hire someone to use their violence to try to impose our values on them. Now, what we do is we associate. That's what we do. So conservative libertarians will associate with conservative libertarians. They'll talk to the more libertarians, especially the ones who actually do things and are valuable members of the community. But it's not like they're going to take their family over and hang out with them, because it's just a different mentality. Same thing with the more libertarians. They're going to live their life as they choose, and they'll work with the conservatives, libertarians on things, but neither one of them are going to use the violence, their own violence or the violence of the state, to impose their views on each other. That's what's happening with the progressives and the conservatives. Each of them not only want to live their life differently, but they believe it's okay to initiate violence against the other, to force them to be like them. And I don't know why any conservative thinks that a progressive is going to turn into a conservative. They are different people. Okay. Yeah. I don't understand why any progressive thinks that they can use the violence to force the conservative to be like them. Why not just let them be, ignore them? Just let them go and hang out in their own communities and have their own fun, and whatever it is that they can look at their accounting sheets on Saturday night. But the libertines that go and have wild parties until 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, just allow each other to be, right. And it's such a simple concept. And I think it's, your big mission is schooling. And I think that it is such a great mission, because I think that this is where people get indoctrinated into thinking that they have to constantly be fighting with each other. They have to be at each other's throats constantly. And why live our lives like that? Why should we be living our lives like that? Why don't we just say, boy, that's weird. I would never do that. Yeah, I'm going to go do this.
And I'll even go one step further. I think when you have that established boundary of like, I'm not going to try to force my way of living onto you, that actually makes an environment where you can have better personal relationships with people who you might disagree with, because then you're able to engage in conversation. You're able to, I actually had like a lot of great conversation. Porkfest this year was so interesting for me. It was so different than the first year, because I had so many interesting conversations with, very lefty people. Very lefty people, or people who still might be a more left-leaning libertarian or things like that, but they didn't want to use the power of the state to force me to do anything. And so we were able to actually have better conversations, because we knew that we might disagree on some things, and it's okay that we disagree on things, because I'm not going to force you, you're not going to force me. We totally agree on that principle, and that's really kind of all that matters. And it's just a much more liberating thing to say, okay, well, we don't agree on drugs or whatever, or we don't agree on abortion or whatever. Well, fine, but let's leave that alone, and then we can talk about these things that we do agree on, or because we know that we're not in any danger of having that person try to force their worldview on us.
Yes. I mean, it's so different to say, hey, I have a different opinion, and let me invite you to understand my different opinion. And I totally accept that you can disagree with me, and I will not try to hurt you, neither myself nor through a proxy hired by a magic ballot box. I will not try to hurt you in order to force you into my viewpoint. Okay. I'm just going to express it, and you can listen to it and take from it what you want and what you don't want. So, we raised our child in a very open, peaceful parenting approach. And, we have reasons why we think that was really useful. We did a lot. Our daughter did a lot of early working in the communities. So this whole child labor thing that the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire gets into trouble for, saying, well, we should get rid of child labor laws. Yes, please.
Yes, we should get rid of child labor laws. They're going to learn more. Well, did you see that Chick-fil-A side note? Did you see that Chick-fil-A article that came out a Chick-fil-A in Massachusetts or something that was fined because kids wanted to work more than 3 hours? What the hell?
Yeah. So my daughter at 15 was working more hours than the owner of the dojo that she was at, but she was she was in sales, and she was running the special needs kids, and she was doing this, and she loved it. She loved it, and that actually turned into the type of thing that she, it was so funny. By the time that she was ending high school, so we homeschool, so what high school is a little bit fuzzy, but by the time that she already knew what it was that really excites her to do, and what she knew that she didn't want to do at all. And so now it was just a matter of, oh, well, if you're interested in that, you might want to explore these couple of areas here. So, as opposed to so many of the other parents who have their kids in an institution away from the community, away from adult engagement, away from real useful work. The kids come out after 4 years of college and how many tens of thousands of dollars in debt, and they still don't know who they are or what they are or what they really want to do. They think that becoming some sort of woke specialist inside of a corporation is what they want to do with their lives. And if that's what you want to do with your life, sweetheart, it's not going to be a fun life. Don't do that to yourself. But anyway, so we suggest these things, and we say this is our opinion. A lot of people don't agree. Good, but
That's
at
fine.
least they can listen. I'm not going to impose it on them. Whereas this progressive guy I was arguing with, you're taking away our schools. I'm not taking away your schools. I don't want to take away your schools. I want you to have the schools that you want. I just don't want you to impose it on people who do not want your school. Just do not steal from them in order to pay for your schools, and do not force them into your school. Let them have their schools.
I'm trying to take away your schools.
It's just such a simple thing.
I want to take away your government schools. You can do whatever you want from there.
But they can still
Dennis
call
is like,
their schools.
no, Carlin.
They can still call their schools government schools, and they are. They're temples. They're a religious adoration of the government as some sort of entity, godlike entity. And if that's really what you want to do it.
You know
please.
what?
But just don't include the other people who don't want it.
Exactly. Once we make the property tax optional, and I no longer have to pay for your government schools that I'm not using anyway because I don't even like kids. You can take your property tax money and pool it together and create whatever crazy woke leftist school you want. I don't really care.
What's wrong with that? Well, I mean, he was so upset because New Hampshire has these new education accounts that would give parents $4,500, $4,900, something like that, to go to a school of your choice. And he goes, I don't want my tax dollars to be going to religious schools. I agree.
I don't want my tax dollars to go to government schools.
I agree with you. You shouldn't have to pay one penny into a religious school that you don't believe. I totally agree with you. But also, they shouldn't have to pay one penny to go into your progressive religious schools. All we do is separate, and all of a sudden, you pay for the schools that you like, they pay for the schools that they like, and we're no longer bickering. But they are so into bickering. They are so into bickering. And
but you know what they should really do, Dennis? Massachusetts is but a short drive away. Vermont is but a short drive away. It's really not that hard.
No. I mean, you can get to Vermont. You can get to Massachusetts at what? It's about 25 minutes from here. You can get to Maine from where I live. I can get to Maine in 10 minutes. And I can get to they call it Northern Massachusetts section. It's right along the seacoast. It's the first congressional district of Maine. They call it Northern Massachusetts. The people in the second congressional district call that the Northern Massachusetts. So you can get, and it's we went up there last year. When we went up there, everyone was masked. We left New Hampshire, and all of a sudden, everyone's like wearing masks and looking really scared, and we were going like, this is weird. This is 10 minutes away from our house. Vermont is for us, it's a little bit further. So it takes us an hour and a half to get to Vermont, but it's as socialist as you want it to be, and I think the socialists need a space as well. I love the idea of the socialists moving to Vermont and making that a really socialist system. I could see where you have a very socialist Vermont right next to a very libertarian New Hampshire. Maybe partition Maine up into two parts. Part of Vermont can also kind of meld over with New York. And we just separate all these different people who have such different ideas about how they should be governed, with there being one option in the world. I don't understand why it's so hard to have one option in the world. It's just a tiny little place where you can be a free man or woman and live how you choose that you want to live.
Indeed. Well, Dennis, it's been a great chat, as it always is. And again, guys, I want to encourage everyone to check out the Fall Foliage of the Mountain guided bus tour. Check it out on, you can go to fsp.org and then go to the online shop, and then it's right in there. You can also join Dennis's Free State Tours group on Facebook if you want to find out more information on that. And that'll have all sorts of info. And if you want that view we were looking at earlier, where you've got all the different options. Oh, that's not it. But Dennis, I'm sure you have it so you also can check out this page for all the different options that you have available to you. And I think it's going to be great. I'm really jealous. I live here already, so I don't need to go on a bus tour. But for those of you who do, I think it's going to be a really great experience.
Well, I hope you come up. You can come up and join us for the Pemi Valley meetup, for the Lakes meetup, for the Berlin meetup, for the Western North Country meetup. You can come and join us on the boat cruise, on the there's so many things. The opening of the community clubhouse. You can join us on all of that. If we have any spaces available, you and Victor are more than welcome to come and hop on the fall foliage trip. But so on fsp.org, go to shop and you can see the bus tour. That's the important one to sign up for. Okay, sign up for that.
We'll get fsp.org, and then shop is right up here in the corner.
Yep.
And then
at the bottom of that is the link that tells you about all the other events. And I mean, if you don't like buses, that's cool.
Here it
is. If you don't really want to see the if you don't really want to see if you don't really want to see the mountains and the fall foliage, that's fine. It's your choice. But come for the meetups. Come for the excursions. Come for the boat trip. You're going to have so much fun. And there is a separate URL. It's called tinyurl.freestatefoliage. tinyurl.freestatefoliage, and that will take you to this page. And there you can just tell us which of these 11 different a la carte types of things that you're kind of interested in, and we'll just keep you in touch with, we're going to be having dinner here, and we'll be meeting over here, and here's how you pick up the tickets for the boat cruise and stuff. And you can see, so I actually number, so 1 2 3 4 5. You can see how we're exploring this state there.
And then all of the numbers correlate with these different meetups, so you can see exactly where it's going to be. And this might look like a big space, that it is, but like, I mean, it really isn't like that bad to drive around. We're not talking about hours and hours in the car here for like in between each of these locations.
Right.
Well, some of them more than others. You might get stuck in traffic sometimes, but
well, what we're actually trying to do is go counter to the tourist. So they're going to be going up around 9 o'clock up into the mountains. We're going to beat them up in the mountains, and then we're coming back. And as we're coming back, there's people still going up. And then we're kind of, we're being a little bit more intelligent about when we leave and how we get to places to kind of skirt around the big tourists, because we get people from all over the world coming to see these leaves changing in New Hampshire. And you may as well enjoy it, because this will be your home.
Listen, like, fall foliage season doesn't last long. And so, like, look at this. I mean, come on. Like, I don't understand anyone who would come up here and not want to see this. But, like, I guess if you don't want to, that's fine. But I think it's a pretty great option.
Yeah.
All right, Dennis. Well, thank you so much for coming on the channel again. I really appreciate it. I'm going to pull you off the screen for 1 second. We're going to do a little bit more shilling, but you are always welcome back anytime. You know that. And people just love having you. Reagan says, thank you, Dennis. You are a delight to have on Carlin's channel. I learned something from you each time. All right, Dennis. Hang on. Sit tight 1 second. I'll be right back with you. Guys, I just want to remind you that, again, I definitely encourage you to check out the fall foliage tour that Dennis is talking about. Of course, Pork Fest tickets for next year are already on sale as well. That's not till June, though. It's a long time away. It's like 11 months. I can't believe it's been a month since Pork Fest already, but that's how quick time flies. But I just want to remind everyone that starting in about 30 minutes, I do have a private community Zoom call going on in my locals community that starts at 7 p.m. If you want to I should probably put this on the screen. Hang on, stand by. There it is. If you want to get involved with my private community Zoom call and become a member of my locals community, head over to kb.locals.com/support and you can sign up for $5 a month. You can also sign up for $50 a year or make a one-time gift, and all those things are going to get you invited to the call. Just to let you know, I will also this week be launching a Patreon and some other options that you can join to sign up as well, because I'm working on expanding the community beyond people that are willing to join locals, because to be quite frank, not everyone is. Now, listen, I think locals is a pretty great place. I think I have the best community on locals. I love my locals members, but I will be adding more membership options in the coming days to give people more ways to sign up, get involved with the community Zooms, get involved with the community, get some more awesome perks. All that's going to be coming very, very soon. So if you haven't been joining because you're like, I don't like locals, it's a conservative platform, dude, I totally get it. And I'm going to be providing more options for you very, very soon. But for right now, we're going to call it a day. Mount that like button on the way out the door. Thank you for spending some time with us, and we will see you soon. Bye.